So we got what's coming on. See if anybody can hear me. See if anybody's out there. Um, Decided to do, like I said, I'm coming like two, three times out the week, and you know, thought I'd come on out here. I'm definitely gonna do once more this week, but this is the first one or two. Hope everybody's doing good. This last week of the month. It's one of those kind of months where you just, well, September's been crazy. Depends on where you live and what the weather is like. Hope everybody's doing good though. Just thought I'd try to come on here and, catch some people in a good mood today. See what we're working with. See what we're working with. If I see anybody on here, I will definitely stick around. Um, it's one of those kind of things that, I'm going to play it by ear. It's kind of spontaneous. They don't ever send out these notifications. So things don't hardly come out. So just thought I'd come on. The news about the Dikembe Mutombo was pretty heavy. Um, Thoughts and prayers are with the basketball family, and I wanted to send a prayer. Um, you know, um, I got the news, and I was like, wow, and just thought it kind of hit me. Um, I always have like deep memories of him. I go um, back when we were going into 30 years ago. Because some people remember him with the Sixers, and I, of course, that year, but um, mine with him holding that basketball when Denver upset at Seattle in the playoffs. And that's my main memory of Dikembe. They'll always be the one that's etched in my mind because he just had such joy. That's when NBA upsets counted. There are no more legendary episodes like that anymore, upsets like that, I don't think. I mean, we could make debate. Some might say the Pistons over the Lakers in '04, but that was something in that particular time. I mean, you had Sean Kemp and Gary Payton and Peak and Prime and George Carlin. They had won all those games. They had won 64 games. That's back when winning a lot of games was like a big thing. Still is, but it really was something 30 years ago. So, but he was Defensive Player of the Year in '01 when the Sixers and Iverson was the MVP and Larry Brown was the Coach of the Year. And, you know, um, he was a very colorful guy, very expressive. A lot of memories of him. So, it was sad to hear because he was so young and brain cancer. And it was just, thoughts and prayers go out to the Dikembe Mutombo's family, friends, and fans around the world. It's just really sad to hear that news. Anyway, I'm on here today to cover a wide range of different topics. I thought I would throw the baseball thing out there because the playoffs start after the Mets series concludes today. And how that goes and how that plays out will determine the rest of the National League. But the American League one's already set in stone. So if you're baseball fans, feel free to vote. I'm just curious if anybody's got any buzz for it. That's all. Of course, we're going to be talking about football because, you know, and I did my videos already. I'm rocking my team, but they stunk last night. So the football video is coming with all the rundown. I'm not that crazy about the two games on Monday, even though I will say that Washington Cincinnati game, Jaden Daniels got off. Jaden Daniels is scary. I think Stephen A. Smith and I want to say Shrug. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, they weren't giving Washington no props. Sarah Good, can't think of names. Not, but anyway, they weren't giving them no props. I'm about to change their tune. And they spanked up on Arizona, and I know that don't really count, but still, kid coming in real poised like that. Washington got something. They got something. So it could be interesting. Some people voting, some ain't. I got one vote so far. Okay. If you are a boy, come on through. He got to do a lot of talking. He got to do a lot of talking. He gonna have to sing. And when he get free, he gonna have to sound like a member of New Edition meets the Temptations. I don't know. It's gonna take a lot of work. That the way they got him and the way they releasing those tapes. The only thing he got going for him is if he tells the truth about everybody was there and got dates and times, he'd be looking at a straight 15, which could probably get him out in about 12. I don't think he's going. I don't think. I think it could go. I think he definitely gonna get a long stretch, but something will happen though. Can't say. But I like it though. People got opinions about him, and the thing about it is the opinions they got of him it varies because some people want stuff to come out, some don't. But he's, it's interesting. It's interesting. We're gonna see how it turns out though. It's interesting. See, a couple people came through so far, so we're gonna see what we're working with. You know, hope everybody doing all right out there. Everybody staying warm and cool and staying because I said it because sometimes the weather out here be crazy. Okay, who you got? Who you rooting for? Since you came on here like that knockout, you got to give me a team who you got, what you like, who would you like to see? We got some interesting teams. We got the obviously the Yankees and Dodgers are the money picks, but the Astros, who are the Yankees' nemesis and arguably the most important team in the last 10 years in baseball, because you always got to go through Houston. Philadelphia, who's been coming on strong the last few years in the National League. Baltimore, who's been a sudden rise in the last few. Milwaukee. You got the Yankees, Houston, Baltimore, Detroit, Cleveland, and the American. The National League, you got the LA Dodgers, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, San Diego. A lot's going to depend on the Atlanta Mets series that's going on today because whoever, like Atlanta's got the tiebreaker. So the Mets in Arizona, one will go in. So that's what's up. But I do like it though. Okay. Bryce Harper got a lot on the table. So this could be his year. It could be his year. He's the forgotten guy. Because before there was Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, there was Bryce Harper. We'll see. He came up short in the World Series a couple years ago. So we'll see. We shall see. I always have looked forward to this time of year in baseball. It is an incredible time. Thank you, thank you. You are a baseball fan. Thank you. Okay, so thank you, AA, on that. I used to live in the area. Every year it's the same thing. And when they had Scott Servio, their former manager, they used to win 90 and just missed the playoffs. Now everyone's clinched because Atlanta and the Mets are finishing up today. So if Atlanta finishes off the Mets, Arizona needs help. I think Atlanta's definitely in as tiebreakers. The Mariners have settled for being mediocre. Mediocrity. They were probably the best team in the '90s that didn't get to the World Series. So, um, it's always a team where they just come up short. If it's a double wild card, they come up short. If it's a, they just they and I knew there was only going to be one team out the AL West. They blew it this year. They were ahead of Houston. Appreciate you. Glad you're coming through. And let's talk. So yeah, the Mariners just keep coming up short, and they just settle on mediocrity. And you know what happens with Seattle? Every time they have somebody, "What's happening? How you doing? Good to see you, Pierre." Every time look they're gonna be good, somebody leaves and they go somewhere with a ring. They don't win a ring there, so I don't know what that means. What's up, Ted? Good to have the ones that are speaking truth. What's up? Thank you, aboard. And well, we talking baseball, football, of course, and rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. I just did a video for for those who subscribe or check out my channel. I just did a video to Dikembe. Rest in peace. This channel is about everything you can imagine. Um, we talk about sports, music, entertainment, politics. race, religion, class, everything. Whatever you want to talk about. I just don't go vulgar and I don't offend nobody. There's standards on here, and there's also I don't do trolling. But anything, and of course, we talk about Diddy. Oh, Texas weeks for Texas, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Okay. I know about those two from the UK. Um, I think the way he was respected. Yeah, they are. Well, politics always had to be scared. Depends on what side you on. You know. I mean, they do take politicians out. There are quite a few brothers that got locked up. Yeah, I think the way he carried himself. You can either bring the police involved in it or you can get your receipts. That's what I would tell anybody. Anybody took something from you, have the receipts. And bring somebody with you that you trust that knows the both of you. Have a witness with you. Yeah, politicians are it's a tricky business. So if I think what this EM is saying, you gotta take this turkey off. I don't want no trolls on here, so yeah, gotta go. I saw where that was going. It depends on where you live. Depends on where you live. That's the honest truth. Some people go 60, some go 80. It depends on where you live. If you're in the backwoods, you hit no deer, it depends on where you live. I won't be going to Belgium no time soon, that's for sure. Woo. Y'all not playing. Y'all not playing. Hey, come on back. Let me talk about that Green Bay because I saw you say what you said. Let me address that. Not about that, but about Jordan Love. You almost won that game. But you know what? I'm not blaming it on Jordan Love. A couple of those interceptions weren't his fault. But you missed that field goal. You got that. You stuck with a poochie. Kicker missed. There's some bad kickers. Bad kickers. Sam Darnold is looking poised. Are they there? Are they for real? I mean, you gotta kind of wonder. Yeah, but I do like Jordan. I do, but some people. So I was in the comment section, Ted. I don't know if you were in the comment section because we're reviewing the game. Because tomorrow I'm bringing out the whole week 4 review, right? Some of them said they thought that Malik Willis should have stayed. Yeah, you ain't lying. Your kicker sucks because y'all could have won that game. Them Tapucci missed them too. You win the game. Oh, they probably do be going faster. It's up to y'all police. That's all I can say. It depends on where you are. Yeah, your kicker is a scrub, y'all. And there must be some bad kickers in the league because a lot of people going for them fourth down. I seen a lot of but you know what, Ted? Your kicker don't suck as much as the Jets kicker does. That was horrific. That turkey missed kicks left and right. And Aaron Rodgers looked old too, so you ain't missing him. That game was dreadful. Somebody was talking about how they edited to 12 minutes to put that in. That mess, I don't know how you get 6 minutes of that. That was like watching paint dry. Bo Nixon, I still don't know what he got, but I know Aaron Rodgers ain't a whole lot. That was a brutal game. Brutal. I could do a video about it. The sad part about kickers is that kickers are like the NBA guys. They can shoot threes, they can't shoot nothing inside. These kickers can't make nothing. If it ain't 55, 60, forget about it. They suck if it's like 40 and in. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, some bad kickers going. We might get a video on it. I might. I might. But college football, I might do a thing about that my next thing. Because that Alabama Georgia game was good. I like that. This is where you get excited about football. No other sport gets me this hype. Not from start to even though there can be some whackness out there, I still get more hype. All right, keep on talking now. 80% say yes, they're excited for baseball. That's pretty impressive. He threw what coach under the bus? Joe Torre? If you're talking about that, I remember. But if it's anyone else but Joe Torre, you gotta refresh me. You talking about that A-Rod. Oh, you're talking about Sala? You talking about Sala, right? He's already under the bus. There's a meathead. That's a meathead. That's a prime rib meathead. He don't like him, but Aaron Rodgers has always done that. Oh, do you ever peep out the comment section with Green Bay, Minnesota? You should check that out. They got some. Oh, you love it. One of the cats says that Jordan Love is Brett Favre. Like they talking about his numbers. They said that very. I was thinking of you. I was thinking, whoa, they have some real comments over there. They have some real comments on that site. That was crazy. Um, Salah's over his head. He's in over his head. And I'm gonna tell you a story too. He lucky that Aaron Rodgers is old. Yeah, you got to go over some YouTube. You got to go under the NFL Network, and they got Green Bay, Minnesota replay the 13-minute the version they cut. The comment section, oh man, they be talking about they. Some of them said Malik Willis should have stayed in. They said that Jordan Love looks like Brett Favre. Like it was some comments. I was cracking up. I was like, wow, they went in. There was some good comments over there. But Aaron Rodgers, yeah, well, but the problem is that he's old. They can't get the right coach for him at this stage. That sack he took, he almost didn't get back up. They did. I thought about you because I was over there. I was reading them comments. I was like, whoa. and but they did defend him. A couple of them defended Jordan Love. They said two of them interceptions weren't his fault. That catch that Jefferson made, that one with the that was a great catch. Minnesota just be balling. They, Sam Darnold. They playing good football so far. I don't know if they're there for real, but they playing good. You know, they're one of those teams I'm watching. They could be this year's version of Detroit too. We'll see. We shall see. All right, so we got 6 votes so far. So 67 say yeah for baseball. Hope everybody doing all right. Hope everybody had a good weekend and all the football going on and baseball postseason. I never did hear back from that cat up above about the Mariners though. I don't want to talk about that to you. I don't. I know how. I know. I don't want to talk about that. I did my one video about the Bills and the Ravens. I don't. That dude looked like Earl Campbell uh, Jr. I mean, they beat us up. Bills but I wasn't shocked though. I wasn't excited about the 3-0 start. And I wasn't buying, you know. Yeah, he should be fired too. He can't because he can't coach up. Got out coached. Bad too. Bad. Bad. Play calling, playmaking, bad. Long, they're not gonna lose a lot, but the game where they gonna lose, he gonna get exposed. Can't beat no meaty teams. Probably shouldn't even have beat Arizona because Kyler Murray was tearing it behind up. Spanking up on Miami don't really count, and spanking up on Jacksonville, sure enough, don't count. Look at the teams we beaten. If they know how to finish up games, they're gonna be a problem. And of course, they should have lost to Kansas City. Should have beat the Raiders. They blew that game. Should have spanked Dallas by like 20, and they spanked us like they supposed to. So that's really that in a nutshell, you know. But if he runs less, Henry more, pass more, your defense doesn't get cute and play 4 quarters of football, it's a tough team to beat. So, but it's already starting. You can always tell. Everybody coming in, please hit them likes. Please hit them likes. Welcome conversation. Please hit those likes and feel free to come on in. If you want to talk about something, feel free. Because I know I see some eyes out there and I don't mind. Let's do it. We talk about a whole lot of topics. Just got sports topics right now, but we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But who are you talking about when you say that? Do tell me. Give me some names because I want to know who you're referring to. Who's Dink and Dunk? But it is true what you're saying. That is true. But I want to know who you're talking about. If you're gonna say that, you got to name some names. Don't do blind items here. I ain't that big yet. I got to get bigger before we can do blind items. You got to tell me who you talking about. Who's Dink and Dunk? There was some horrible games yesterday, though. Oof, that Cleveland Raiders game. Some bad, bad, bad football. But who's Dink and Dunk? I'm ready. Come on through, come on through. So everybody's 71% excited for baseball. Okay. Good, good, good. Purdy threw the ball. The one interception on him was a good route reader. He did whip that ball down. Have you seen Jennings as receiver? That cat's nice. Gino has to do it because, he did hit a bomb to Metcalf, but you don't want Gino showing off. You already know about Baker. We already told you about Baker. Daniel Jones got to hang on to the ball. He got to hang on to the ball. I don't. Gino does check down. Baker, okay, I'll give you that. What's happening? What's up? How you doing? I think Purdy was poised. Yeah, well, they got options. They got Jennings is nice. I mean, they draft top tier. They don't miss with what they got. They got a nice pickup at running back. They got a receiver. Their problem is hanging on the leads, you know, especially against good quality teams, not scrub teams. Daniel Jones, he passes it to anybody. That means the referee, the ball boy, the Gatorade, the water. It made no difference. He'll pass it to anybody. So his short game, long game's all the same. Gino be throwing that rock, but that keeps him out of throwing or turning the ball over. All right. Feel free to ask away. See more people coming through. Please hit that like too. Yeah, Ted, back to what you're asking about Dikembe. His thing was he led by example. I had a lot of respect for him. I'm gonna tell you something. When they used to play the Giants, that was a 40-40 burger. Up there struggling, kicking field goals, aside from that one bomb to CJ Lamb, they in trouble. They play like that, they in trouble. Thank you. He was for his era. For his era, he was one of the best. Um, I can only go by his era. I can't say all time because it's different style of basketball, but he was I put it to you like this. If Rudy Gobert was as half as good as Mutombo, they'd be going to a finals. That's what I would say. He didn't back down and he took it like a man because Shaq had to bring it against him. He wasn't gonna sit there and squirm and flop and act. Thank you. That's truth. He did not back down. He didn't back down for nobody. Jordan and him, didn't matter who it was. You know, I have much respect for him. My lasting memory was when he played for the Nuggets, the when they beat the Sonics and he clutched that ball on the floor. That's my lasting memory of him. He go, I'm going to go to you guys, and I'm going to go to, and you guys go come here, and you go, and you. He used to crack me up too, because he be talking. I believe it too. I believe it too. Because Gobert got some people believing his jive. If he was half as good as I said half. I didn't even say he's good. I said if he was half as good as Mutombo, the Timberwolves have been in the finals. He ain't though. He ain't. If he was half, I ain't even say that the fool. I said be half as good as Mutombo because he's similar because of the way he. Yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna block you. You don't come to Mutombo house. You don't come to Mutombo house. I'm gonna get you no Mutombo, and you go get your one. Oh, Well, they if Theo Ratliff was gonna be their X factor to getting there, they weren't gonna get there. So that made all the sense in the world. The only problem is that AI never had a collaborator to score with. That's the only thing that hurt him. He would have had to learn how to defer. So, but I like Dikembe a lot. Georgetown, Patrick Ewing, Lonzo Mourning the bigs. He was good, but he wasn't no Mutombo. You know, the difference with you, especially when you got Shaq, when Shaq was in his peak in his prime. Oh, he's sizing that up. Mhm. Mm-mm. And Theo was good. They just didn't have no scoring though. They actually played pretty good in the finals, and then, well, Ori went off, Shaq went off, Kobe went off. I remember that very well. That's when basketball was considered an upset. You were real young at the time. I don't think you understand how big an upset was, and that's when upsets mattered in the NBA. Now, obviously, you can go to the Pistons and the Lakers in the '04 finals, and some will say Dallas over Miami, Cleveland, Golden State. But that was when someone got upset, that was like a big deal, especially eighth seed at that time. That was a pretty freaking big deal. George Karl never addressed that either. They should have had a guy like him against the Bulls. They probably beat the Bulls with him. They were 64 win team. I remember like yesterday, yo. And people were upset behind that Sean Kemp. Um, I'm gonna tell you like this: hero ball with Josh Allen, not running the ball, can't stop the run, getting punched in the mouth, and letting Lamar and them do what they want. That's a recipe to get that 20 plus burger put on you. He did throw that one nice pass, but uh, they stunk. They're not where they supposed to be. They're not a top tier team. Yeah, the 93-94 was incredible basketball. Um, they were a great team. That's when Rainman was in his element. Him and Gary were running the things. That's when if a team won a lot of games, I mean, they remember the Sonics were really good during that 90s period. Now it always happens against the Bulls and against the Bills. It ain't no shame. He does it every time. He did it in Tennessee. He's to run us up stack. They don't pound the line. They don't stop him. It's the same old thing. Shaquan was going off. You got that right because he had that big run because they don't know what they're doing on offense. That's why. The play calling is janky and they got smashed in the mouth. They're playing cute football and they fool around, turn the ball over, and shorten the field. Yeah, look who you're talking about. If you were a Cowboys fan, you couldn't wait to get Kellen Moore out of there. Shaquan is balling. He deserved to be on a better team. I wish I wish almost my Bills had made a move for him because he's gonna die on Philly if Jalen Hurts don't get hurt. If they don't come together, Shaquan is balling. I mean, I watch him play. I don't know. He is. He's missing passes over the middle. His highs are not as they're not where they're supposed to be. I'd say more like fault because his open feet, his feet be flying. He's more deceptive too. Keep on hitting those likes too. I see more faces coming through for hit those likes, so feel free. Yeah, he is definitely on a decline. It's a shame too, because I think there's some internal problems going on. Don't be surprised if Bill Belichick gets a phone call. I'm just saying. They look like they just not really in the same syncopation at all. They got some talent. I know everybody's talking when AJ Brown gets back, but something's off in Philly though. Got 11 votes so far. Okay, this one's turned out to be pretty popular. Like this one. Keep on asking away, waiting, waiting. 55% say yes, 45. Okay, it's tightening up. I think one of the problems with baseball is because it just doesn't really loan itself to like the people's. It's sad if they play too long. If you play too long and you're arrogant about it, that's what makes it even worse. That's my problem with Aaron Rodgers. He's arrogant about it. It'd be one thing he got old and he fell off, but it's another he's arrogant. Like it's cool, relax. You hate your coach and you still trying to run that game you did when you're in Green Bay. Everybody know, and unlike Brett Favre, ain't gonna be no Super Bowl for you. Ain't gonna be no NFC AFC Championship game. You're gonna get knocked out probably again. Yeah, they always do good with running backs. You hit and miss with your quarterbacks, but you do great with your running backs. And your receivers can be on point, but it's always like you have that game or that season where you don't connect the dots. That's the problem with the Eagles. It depends on who you consider who played too long. Tell me who you think played too long, and then I'll tell you if they made a joke about him. I mean, obviously Shaq played too long. Kobe to an extent did. I think LeBron is too. I like it when guys leave where you kind of wonder. Like when I saw Dwayne Wade, he looked like he could still play a bit. Obviously, Reggie Miller. Obviously, Barry Sanders. I can look across and we know, yep, we know Barry Bonds should have been playing at least 2 more years. The Vikings defense is a little suspect. Their defense a little suspect. That's why I wonder how real they are. I'll know though soon. But I am impressed though. I mean, Sam Donald is poised. Who knew? Who saw that coming? But he been around 15 years, so he better do something right. Yeah, he did. And once he went, and truth is when he went to Cincinnati and the White Sox, he pretty much cut his career down with that anyway. What about the Bucks? What about him? I think Baker Mayfield's playing good. I think he fits in the system. Their defense, you know, they they're not going to do anything too extraordinary, but they're going to be right where they're supposed to be even killed. They could be a problem. They're going to have some games where they're going to exploit teams, and they just got to keep the turn. He As long as he don't get into a turnover machine, they might, you know, yeah. How they doing? Atlanta's playing because if they win, if they split, I give him his due for finally. I mean, if you play for enough teams, you're gonna get it right, right? You play for you mascot for enough teams, you definitely be a cheerleader. Somebody's system will work with him. Okay, so if they win, all they gotta do is win one of those games. They'll be in because they got tiebreak over the Mets. I think, and I know Arizona's watching, so appreciate the update. 50%, 57% say yes, they're excited. Now, if you're Atlanta, you definitely got your work cut out because Philadelphia took over the AL East, so that's gonna be interesting. The Mets have been on point, it's gonna be interesting. The National League is probably up for grabs more than I think the American League is. Even though you got those teams from the AL Central, that's gonna be interesting. Kansas City, Detroit, Cleveland. Baltimore represent. How you doing? Good to see you. Otani's playing out his mind. Ain't never seen nothing like it. Glad to welcome KM. Tell me where you're from. How you doing from Baltimore? What's up? Okay, Jay. Well, the only thing about that, he was too old. Amari couldn't play half court basketball, and their style didn't work, and they got exposed. That's what happened. The Dodgers. They should be the best team in baseball. They got the talent, they got the money, and they got the best player going right now. And you got Mookie Betts and you got Clayton Kershaw. What else you want? As a matter of fact, if LeBron James could hit, he'd be trying to go to the Dodgers. Where you at, Ted? You know you like that one. If LeBron James could play baseball, he'd be trying to play for the Dodgers right now because they stack, but they postseason is whack. They got one ring all the time. All right, KM, tell me more from Baltimore. Even though I'm a Bills fan and you can tell my Baltimore representing for the Bills up. No, I ain't gonna say about all that. He need to win some rings and he need to play at least 5, 10 years. That's all I got to say about all that. But he's special though. But Sugar Shea Mosley wants that bag. That's why. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, we did it. We were talking about that up above. Yeah. Yeah, I talked about it's too early for Otani, but he's definitely coming through. But we'll see. I got to see what he does with the Dodgers. I got to see what kind of success they have. Give me 5 or 6 years or so. He wins 2, 3 rings. I don't. First of all, I know why some people say that, and I know you can come after me, but you can only come after me because I said it about Tiger Woods and Patrick Mahomes. But that's because they moved me and bedazzled me. They won big. I want to see what Otani does do for a few years when he has that fall off year. See what happens. Yeah, I acknowledge Mutombo above. We talked about how great what he was, especially mine going back where he's with the Denver Nuggets. So he ain't juicing. Bonds didn't have to win a ring because in baseball, it's not about winning rings, not for players. Ted Williams carries as much weight as almost anybody that's won for Boston. Kershaw has pressure if he wants to be really held with Sandy Koufax. He do. Baseball doesn't really hold against you if you don't win rings. It really don't. Baseball is about the team. They don't look at it and say, "Oh, you had to win 80 rings to be considered great." Because Yogi Bear got 10 of them, and no one's ever saying Yogi Bear is the GOAT. No one's going to put Yogi Bear in the same sentence with Bill Russell. It's just because he played for the Yankees. So Kershaw got pressure. Oh, yeah, they got their butt knocked out last year. Have you forgotten? He got pressure. He got pressure from me because I'm tired of hearing about the Dodgers. They spent all that money. Everybody used to always get on the Yankees, but you spent all that money, you don't win. What about the Dodgers? They spent more money. What's the excuse? People always gotta have a double, they gotta come with the Yankees about this or that. But just adjusting real quick. But you know, I don't judge MLB on rings, NHL years. Who cares about the NHL? The NHL? Really? Really? That's the first I've heard about that. Gretzky was big, Sidney Crosby. Those guys, the guys that got the love. I don't really know about if hockey. I okay. That's a news flash for me about hockey. Um, Football. No one uses Emmitt Smith's rings to say he's the greatest running back. Troy Aikman's got 3 rings. No one is putting Troy Aikman in the same sentence with Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady. Terry Bradshaw doesn't make that is. Uh, Basketball, yeah. Basketball, to be honest with you, is the one sport that they make that more than anything. If must know, football at quarterback position. No other position. Head coaches, yes. Quarterbacks, head coaches, yes. So football is kind of like it's kind of it's different that way. He was great for his time. Um, he's not cracking my top 3 or 4, but he top 10. You can make strong case, and he had moments. For some, for some. Bonds, grocery Bonds. Yeah, it's different because again, baseball is a team. The team aspect, being the best player in baseball doesn't mean you're on the best team. Now, he was great, but he played for different reasons. Could have been financial. I don't know what's all with Randy Moss. I don't know. I mean, as long as you don't see him playing for the Bears or something when you know they ain't got no quarterback over there. Playing for the Raiders was pretty bad. So, but he got out of that. Yeah, it's tough because in other sports, it's true. Baseball is true. I remember watching Tony Gwynn, and he got to the World Series in '84, and then he come back to '98, and he could hit anything. Doesn't it? It's so much luck of the draw. There's no rhyme or reason. And football too. Dan Marino went to one Super Bowl. Randy Moss did too. So you just never know. You can never take it for granted. You know. That's why I marvel when I see the cats like Mahomes and Montana and Brady. Peyton Manning went to multiple, and Elway went to multiple. Because I'm gonna take Aikman and Button Bradshaw, guys like that. But you're gonna see some guys who are great or athletic and they don't go nowhere. Look at how long Vince Carter played. Now that's one exception for basketball. Using basketball, you get hooked up with you know, get hooked up on the bench. He played fantastic in the World Series. You can make the case he was the best player. You could make that case. I still don't know how they lost that World Series. And that ball still never came back down. So 19 votes so far, 58% for yes. Okay, this is great. This is great. Glad to see a lot of participants out here. Come on now, feel free to come on through. If you're out here, give me comments, give me comments. Great takes, Jay. Are you talking about A-Rod or who else you talking about this time? Because you sound like you got a bee in your bonnet. Who you picking on this time? What's happening? How you doing, IMS? Great to have you. Thank you for coming in tonight. Anybody got questions and thoughts? Feel free. It's long. Thank you. Appreciate that. The Diddy thing. Well, they all took a bite on the bus. Andy Vance, like all of them, but that kind of came and went. The Diddy thing, Jay Will, the drugs and the sex, the trafficking. That's what's the biggest thing. The traffic, the traffic, the traffic, and then they can prove the drugs. They got the video, so they can prove the drugs and the traffic. Then you know, but that's what's going to be the big thing with that, though. Um, I think if he does some talking, he might get himself out in 15 or less. And he has to be accurate. It has to be enough where they say, okay, we'll wash 75%. Because believe me, they'll wash away about half, pay some cash, wash them half. But he has to be accurate though to get that. If he don't come correct, it's a death sentence. That's how I look at it. So he's got to open his mouth. I see a lot of their secrets coming out now by association. We are not oblivious to how it works. You fill in the blank. Somebody that can't sing that's got a 25-year career. Somebody that can't act got this career. Somebody that you see, I don't know, on your basketball team, on your football team, on your team, and you're like, what's that guy doing there? How they get hooked up? We don't talk about WNBA because nobody assumes that anybody in WA would have this kind of situation. You just don't know. It's all connected. It's all connected. His case is gonna blow the lid because everybody been there. I told people that the worst thing that happened, and they laughed and snickered, was when R. Kelly got locked up. This is gonna be 3 times worse than that because now you got a conglomerate. You got a bigger, and we're not talking talent, we're talking about who's bigger in the corporate world. Puffy's name carried more weight than R. Kelly, so he's got a lot more going on. So it could be Jay-Z, Beyonce, it could be um, politicians. You'd be surprised. Everybody was dancing at Diddy party or associated with it. Ashton Kutcher got to explain stuff while he on that video. A lot of them. Yeah, thank you, SP. Welcome aboard. I definitely acknowledged him. Thank you. Definitely. Glad you are. I'm not surprised. It's the hype machine that's in fact. It's just like the Taylor Swifties. Until see, this is the thing. I don't know. I don't think Caitlin Clark is a bigot or anything like that, but I'll say this. If you don't say nothing and you let stuff infiltrate, people start to assume until you stand up against something. So does she have to show up with a black boyfriend or something? And would that flip the script? Maybe. You know, I always say this: you have to signify. Oh, they did, because it is in the state of Indiana. And let me let you on a secret. Yeah, I know people gonna tell me Michael Jackson from Indiana and they love him. Babyface from Indiana and they love him. They don't love nobody that much to show their ways. Didn't get she endorsed her because of Taylor Swift. But whatever Clark is, she's got to be cool. No, they don't love him like that. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Whatever she is, she's got to be careful with how she moves. Cause a lot of money being made. You know, I know one thing. Angel Reese got a ring, and she did not know that. Yeah, well, and it can't be just any brother. It can't be no French Montana, Chris Brown looking cat either. It's gotta probably much be like TK Kirkland. You know what TK Kirkland look like? That would that would flip wigs. That would flip some wigs if she walked out with a TK Kirkland. Not a Terry Crews brother though, but a TK Kirkland who's loud. Say, "Come here, Kate. Come here, CC. Let me cat." They need something that wouldn't expect it. That's how it would have to be. Mhm. Just saying. They'd have to almost be caught off guard. The kind of brother she have on the carpet with her almost make her parents disown her. I'm for real. That's how it would have to be. So, but yeah, I thought I'd say it like that and get a good laugh out of you. All right, keep on talking. 55. Yeah, it's got to be some cat that no one, cause it's like, yeah, I'll be practicing with her. Yeah. And you be like, oh, stunned, like a Patrick Beverly type of cat. Patrick Beverly put those glasses on. You know how he try to look all articulate in all season when he's sitting up there? The thing I've said about her is this: can she shoot? Yeah. Can she play big? Yeah. She rotate. The problem with her is that you got to have growing pains. Nah, it can't be no soft Tim Scott. If it was, but I'm just hypothetically saying the only way that would shut down her fan base and they would have to eat crow. I don't expect nothing. I ain't want no Tim Scott dude. That would be the worst thing that could happen. That would be horrible. But yeah, cause she hasn't won nothing. Angel Reese still got that college ring over her. What has she done? She put up some numbers, and they finally allowed them to stop beating up on her, and she balled. But again, she just a rookie anyway. I mean, like, but she didn't brought. It's gonna be a lot of heat on her. Oh, they would. They would. Just some of them might would turned on Taylor Swift. So, but I'm telling you, these things are systematic, though. They manufacture them and they looking to make them. You know. I don't know. First of all, I don't know the cats. None of the cats I know look at Caitlin Clark like that. No way. So, you know, that ain't gonna happen. What's that song by her? Ever, ever, ever. It ain't gonna ever, ever, ever happen. Mm-mm. That ain't gonna happen. Swifty plays the Mary Had a Little Lamb role real good and Middle America role. She ain't nobody getting that. Ain't nothing with that. Even when she did that remix with Kendrick, that thing felt like a voiceover. It didn't feel authentic. Can't having dirty trolls on here, so you gotta take that somewhere else. Depending on what kind of cat she was with. Yeah, you see, let me give you an example. You watch The Sopranos? Give me a one if you watch The Sopranos. Anybody that's on right now, you watch The Sopranos. Throw up a one if you watch The Sopranos, throw me up a one. Okay, you remember when Meadows was dating the light skinned brother with the glasses? His name was Kareem. That's the kind of cat that. And you remember how Tony got all out of pocket? Like, "You couldn't be bringing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in here," and all that. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the most generic one, you see. Now, Caitlin Clark, Taylor Swift roll up with Gucci Man. What you think gonna happen? Let that be Gucci Man. Because I saw that picture of Gucci Man, it was online last night, dressed in red with him and his girl. So, oh, yeah, by the way, since we all live, the LeBron James Photoshop, what you think about that? That chick put that Photoshop at the Diddy party. That was pretty foul too. Pretty foul. They wouldn't respect it. They know it was fake. Cause if you cornball and you corny and you with some chick that's corny too, that's not a good look. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a good look. You can't be a cornball with a corny and I think they are too. I think they are too. I think this year gonna really it's coming to a head too. This year is definitely gonna be something for them. Oh, it's getting close again. 51% say no, 49 say yes. So are you excited for the baseball playoff? Okay. Split. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. With all that money baseball has, I don't think the sport has really shook up people like that. Interesting. Keep on hitting up those likes. Keep hitting up those likes. Got more views coming through, more views coming through. Mm, the old school Kareem would be a problem. Yep. I like how you used in that movie. Did you ever watch The Return of Carlito that came out in '05? Because if you did, you know Diddy was in there playing New York Nicky with Mario Van Peebles and the cat Hernandez, the one that's on the Magnum PI reboot, Benny Blanco. I like how you did that. No, well, that I had a late night. Some nights when I can't go to bed by 1:45, 2 o'clock, I have to watch those movies. I know I watch all the stuff that nobody don't watch. It's like I saw all the Vivica A. Fox movies, the Nick Cannon trilogies, the Ice T movies. I know Ice Cube movies that you didn't care about. I know. Well, the thing is, if you use an analogy about LeBron, he's not tough like Benny Blanco though. So he's trying to wine and dine. What I don't know though, but there is a hardcore pressure for acceptance though. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's probably the blackest it's ever been though, for real. And Malik is nice, yo. That's an interesting topic considering where they play. That's uh that'd almost be a video worthy, but I got it with the politics. But that's funny though. Let's just say that's funny. I never would have thought I'd seen that day. I didn't watch it, but I'm so proud of what's going on. Their defense has stepped up. They look good. They look good. I'm not gonna get excited because they got 4 wins. They were near there like last year. So they get that 6th win, and then they can get the Taco Bell Bowl. But that's true. That's true. 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 You could be working at Ernie's Bar and Grill shooting pool all day. Oh, you a Packer, you're good. Put a cheese head on you. That's true. That's true. Right about now, yeah. What you trying to say about Green Bay, Wisconsin? Not a lot of brothers up in there, huh? It's kind of like playing for the Utah Jazz. Oh, okay. That's true. Crack me up. I'm like, wow, that's funny. That was funny. Little Wakanda. That made me laugh. Because if you know about Green Bay, there's truth to what Ted said. That is true. I would like to say you were joking, but no. Does your mama? I'm straight. I don't diddy. And you come over here asking stuff that, first of all, does not pertain to me. And second of all, is not something that I partake in. And third of all, trolling is not legalized here. So got 40 votes so far. I just thought about this baseball one. It's taken off. 42% say yes, 48 say no. It's pretty good. Definitely a big night. Okay, feel free to keep on, keep on. We're doing great. I think, especially when we get to the postseason, I'm always curious how it's gonna go. It's like I always remember talking to Ted. We had this discussion. I said the Yankees, I don't even care about until we get to October, which is true. I'm looking for the postseason. That's what I'm looking for. He could be. He could be. Except the difference is that Rich Gannon. Well, that's an interesting analogy you make because Rich Gannon to me was a scrub, and then he looked into this MVP, and then as he got pounded in that Super Bowl, he went underground again. So that's interesting analogy that you mentioned like that. I'm a Yankees fan too. I just think it comes down to pitching and health. Soto will be huge though. It's gonna be like Unleash the Dragon. Giancarlo Stanton benefits the most of them all though. I think Giancarlo benefits the most because he's kind of gotten forgotten with Soto coming over. Yeah. Well, if they could sneak one, that'd be great. But I don't know. What I mean by sneak one, get to the World Series. Oh yeah, we got some one-liners on here. That Wakanda one, I'm gonna remember that one because I'm like, wow, oh Green Bay didn't change because you had me thinking that for a moment. I'm like, yeah, it's not exactly the most progressive place, and their reputation ain't that progressive. Because most of the time when I think about cats coming out of Wisconsin, I'm thinking like Al Jarreau, Eric Bernier, Latrell Sprewell, but it's not exactly like a walk-open spot that you hear cats go, "Yeah, we from Milwaukee." So, anyway, feel free to keep on talking. We got some good definitely getting some good looks tonight, so come on through. Yeah, it does have some element of it, but, 41 votes. The votes are coming in very rapidly, that's pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised with that. We're gonna see. I know I was late to the pipe on that. Yeah, we had did that one up above. If you get a chance to look at the recap up above, I talked about oh 4 30 years ago because that's how um, I alluded to beating that signing team was a big deal. Oh, I got a video coming out on that, and I'm gonna laugh through the half of that. I'm gonna laugh through the half of that. I don't know what he was smoking or drinking or eating on to bring that one up. That was he got he got spring in him because I still remember when his shoes caught on fire. You remember that one in Duke? The shoes exploded, but he tripped. I think you know what I think this is. I think this got more to do with the Duke North Carolina thing. I think that's what that's about. It's some college joke. No, I don't hang out with Rick Ross. Neither one of them, the rapper or the dealer. So no, well, you'd be lucky I wear the hat at all. You'd be lucky I don't wear a clown hat with the Bills logo. That was a tough game. They were pitiful last night. I got to keep it 100. They It was worse than I thought. I didn't have a good. I had a feeling they would be close. They got waxed, and they ain't learned how to tackle Derrick Henry yet. Um, because of the size. Sporting page, Zion is stocky, mid 6 range, big. That's what it was about, and the athleticism and the movement. Playing with him without the ball, but he's not there. He's not. He's not Barkley. He got to if he ever stay healthy. Can he play more than half a season? You know, I could see what they're going, but it didn't come out. Yeah, it is IMS. Thank you. Glad you're around here too. Appreciate you. No, the Bills need that win. You need a bucket of water over your face to let you know you ain't that good. I've said it above before you got here. I told Ted, and I'll say it again. The Bills can't stop the run. Don't run. They let Josh Allen do a lot of juggling, and they're getting out coached. Gotta have the right coach to coach that kind of talent. Okay. Hmm. I don't know how to. Well, I mean, I don't know how to respond to that, but mm, if you're encountering some folks, I don't know. I am woke up, Mister Showtime. What brings you here? Well, I bet you did. I have to see it in the context, though. I bet you did. I mean, I know you funny, and I get it. As long as people can understand it, they don't get it. It all depends on who you're dealing with. Some people might want to pimp you up. I don't know. Tell me what's up. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. I don't really make no jokes on stuff like that because um, I'm very. First of all, it's not something I would do, but I can't tell nobody else what to do. But it's not something I would do. And on top of that, people super sensitive days, and sometimes unless you really cool with somebody, you gotta be really cool. And then somebody's gonna take it out of context too. So you know, I'm very cognizant of that. Okay, so who this is Showtime Great One is? What you talking about? Please don't come here and trolling because I can't stand trolls. It is a troll. I got that out of here. Anyway, 43 votes, 53 yes, 47 said no. This is getting good. The baseball one catching on. Keep on hitting them likes. I see more faces is coming through below, so thank you. Definitely a good night. Not bad for a Monday after the way the Bills played. I needed some kind of relief because I was like, oh man, pretty heavy day though with the Mutombo thing. But yeah, I'm glad everybody coming through. More people coming through. Says everybody getting quiet again. Come on now. I welcome the conversation. I think because you're looking at how old he is, but I mean, you never know what anyone's going through. Never know. Just important that you know, to show respect and love to folks you never know. I don't give him no pass. Why would I give him a pass? First of all, he's got a veteran team. Second of all, they got a big time payroll. He's paid. He's on a major market. If he played for, let me look at this list over here. Baseball, the teams are in the postseason. Let me get this out. Okay, if you play for Detroit, you might get a pass. Cleveland, Baltimore, maybe. Not with Kansas City. Not with San Diego. With Milwaukee, maybe. But there's no passes. You paying professional baseball. You're a high paid player. No, I can't give him no pass because first of all, he's playing for the Dodgers. They high payroll. He got to win. I know Cat's sensitive, but I think that him and Brunson will be sick. And if it works, it's a big hit. it's a good move for both teams, I think. Because if Julius Randle can complement with Ant and Gobert, that's a nice fit. So he'll adjust. If they don't run him out. But no, no. Because Europe, you're gonna try to tell me that Jalen Brunson is like Kobe, and that's not, they. This makes sense because of tempo. The way the Celtics were able to keep throwing Porzingis with Brown and Tatum and show those three balls and Drew Holiday and all that. That yeah, I get it. I get the styling. I get it. But Paul Gasol had showed signs that he just needed a change where he would really fit, and he was going to be a marquee player. I don't look at Cat like I did Paul Gasol. Cat can score. How you figure? How you figure? Porzingis was a wild card in Boston. Porzingis was a wild card. He did his thing. He didn't have to be the second best player, the first best player. As a matter of fact, he was comfortable being the fourth best player, and it took the burden off of him. So, what does that mean? How do you get to that point? Because Cat's got to be, he has to be the second or third best player. KP coming to Boston, he could be the fourth best player, and it worked out like wonders. You saw how loose he was in that finals against that, hitting them shots, hitting them boards. He was in his comfort zone. So being third, fourth worked for him. Cat's got to be the lowest is second. Okay, that's fair enough. I was waiting for somebody that's how they felt about baseball. That's fair enough. Hold on a second. I like that one. Hold on. Don't move. I like that. I like that when somebody tell me how they really felt about baseball. That was cool. Um, he doesn't have to be the tough guy, but he can't go to them. He can't. He can't go to. Yeah, they did. They played good too. The AL Central was pretty good. Three teams coming out of there. He doesn't, but he has to score. He's coming there to be a scorer. This was a Tibbs move because Tibbs, the offensive styling. I'm gonna say it like this: There's no way in the world Tibbs. Well, see, Tibbs didn't get along with Julius Randle because Julius Randle wants to be the show and he wants to go and he likes to pinpoint and back you up. He shoots that three, but he's all about his rhythm and cadence. Yeah, well, he has to be in New York. That's what was being alluded earlier. Yeah, he did. But he's got more pressure now with the Knicks because they got expectations now. They tired of they tired of always getting knocked out in the second round lately because they got a guy like Brunson. So now, this is why they made that move. This is strictly a move because Boston's styling, they couldn't win with what they had. They kept and they lost to Miami that way too. Not enough offensive firepower. Cat gives them offensive firepower. I can't tell you what the Tigers will do in the postseason, but they had some good, good pieces though. Yeah, he would. Randall like that lifestyle though. Yeah, well, because of his styling. But see, that's why they got him. And if he stays healthy, it's a good move for the Knicks. I understand why Thibodeau went for him. I get it. It's a good move. They've had a good pitching staff, yeah, but they're not consistent, but they've had a good pitching staff. They did get to the World Series a decade ago. A decade ago. Excuse me. Yeah, anybody can be a problem for Joel Embiid if you make him work, you know. But that's not what the Knicks got. There, this is about Boston, it ain't about Philly. Cat or no cat, they can beat Philly. We know Philly's mentally inept. We know how his story goes. You know, it doesn't hurt to have him, but we know how we not trusting Paul George. Maxie's the only one on that team that you gotta kind of. Besides Ted, one of y'all help me out. Do they still have that four top over there? You know who the four top is for the Sixers. If they still got that four top, Tobias four tops, can't help myself. Fourth guy on the rotation. They ain't got to worry about. It should be his team. Okay, well, yeah, he cried to go back to okay, thank you. I remember. Okay, then he go there and take all the money. Good. I'm gonna miss him, Mister Four Tops. That dude would always stay in his fourth slot. Every time you look at the score for the night, he made sure he scored the fourth most points. Cried his way back to Detroit. Get me out of here. And I remember when he was good in Clippers. I remember when I remember when he's up there going, oh, 500. But I'd be like, Mr. Four Tops, because that's the fourth slot. I'm like, when did you get to every night I look at the score sheet and you always the fourth leading scorer on the team? Even when they green light I was like, this guy trying to get back to Detroit, and you know something wrong with him. Don't be surprised if Adam Silver, you find out Tobias Harris gets drug tested. Want to go back to Detroit. That's funny. They ain't got no coach. They 20 years removed from the finals, and that's a long time ago if you've seen the Pistons. Long time ago. That early OO's run that they had ain't coming to Detroit no time soon. They do be good every what am I gonna say? They get good every 10 years. So they're due for a good year in about 6 years. But Tobias just taking money. He must got something going on there. It's true. It's true. Because when they high, but no one likes them though. They don't sell tickets because people scared of them. But when they low, believe me, no one's missing them. So you got that right. And they always a problem for the Lakers. But no one ever likes them when they get going. They're like the NBA's dirty little secret. The Pistons write jokes right themselves. Thoughts on the Bucks? Okay, here you go asking me basketball moves. I'd much rather talk about your Packers than basketball. Can't really say nothing because you just gotta kind of let it, you know. I won't know until I see what happens with him and with Lillard. But I do know that there's a lot of rumors going on about Steph and Giannis. That's all I can say. I've been hearing some people chatter, so it's gonna be a real interesting year with Doc Rivers and all that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I can't till we get to basketball. Well, I will address this one. The guy got dissed at the gold medals. He just won a ring, and people have been hating on him and things that's come on. So he is affected. He's sensitive. He's sensitive. So what you expect? Yeah, if he leaves, I think he will go to the Bay or somewhere. He go somewhere like that. Yeah, the Packers, they definitely mhm. Oh, he is. How you doing, Charlene? How you doing? Oh yeah, that's how Dio gets over right now. And he be on Vlad, and he's always playing both sides, and he got so much to say. He got a lot to say, but he ain't saying nothing though. You know, no one really sweats Dio. You know, the truth is he's bigger on these streets than he is in real life. I don't know nobody. If you meet anybody in your real life who said, "Oh, I'm going to the DL Hewley concert. I got tickets. You want to go see DL Hewley?" You let me know. I don't know nobody in real life who messes with him or watches his whack movies or his corny stand up. Okay, let me address that. He don't got a Finals MVP either. So whatever. Um, the bird thing, I did a video about it. I have to forgive him because the NBA itself has pushed Magic and Bird as the two of the greatest players, in which they are, but they've disrespected Bill Russell. But I've alluded to that. He's young, but he's gonna get to say that because that's what the and so I'm gonna tell you like this. If people got no problem with him saying it about Bird, then don't get at Anthony Edwards. It's pushed out there. Yeah, he is the I'm gonna address that in just a second. Yankees. Pablo, I'm going for Yankees, but the Dodgers got the talent. They should. I did a video about it. My video should be out. I did a video about it. I covered it. DL is doing that. So yeah, that's the thing about that sporting page. You know, the Bird and Magic are sold, you know, for a certain era in time. So DL be doing that thing. Yeah, I covered that about Slim Thug. To me, it's about forgiveness. It's more really me about why I was overseas. Tatum is part manufactured. It's a lot going on with that. We could get into psychosomatics if you want to. Imagery with him and Brown, and it's interesting that whole thing with Boston. You know, because when I think about him and Brown and Mazzola and the history of Boston, you know, that's a very complex situation. But Tatum doesn't need to be mentioning any names. He just needs to worry about his era. You know, he needs to worry about his era. He needs to get better because there are constituent people who think that Brown is better than him. So he needs to worry about his era. He needs to run his era. If it's done right, it could be great. I think Boston will be a great basketball team this year. They got a lot to want to get back on. Believe me, the disrespect's been real. And they're coming back loaded. So, but Joe Mazzulla's been disrespected too. So that's another story. 53% saying yes, 47 saying no about body side for baseball playoffs. It's pretty good. Mm, okay. I think the Celtics will do good, but we'll get to that one though. But the Red Sox didn't know, and that's more important. As a baseball fan, they were 500, and I loved it. They but had to stay home, and I loved it. Oh, well, when the Yankees beat the Celtics back in '03, Aaron Boone hit that home run. You know I love that. Um, the Giants, Kansas City 10 years ago. There's a few. You know, obviously the Mets over Boston. I love that one. I have different ones. There is something about Game Sevens in Major League Baseball that hit differently though. Keep on hitting the likes and the shares. Thank you for coming through. Glad to have you. Feel free to comment. So my baseball. Okay, tell me about Janet. You said back to Janet. By all means, what you want to say about Janet? I saw the footage where she acknowledged Tito and Michael together again. Um, it had a tie-in where she was defending her brother with Kamala, but I ain't got no problem with nothing. I mean, I don't really look at it like my thing is she said what she said. It doesn't have to be blown out of proportion. Um, um, Entertainers and artists are part of political juggernaut, but you know, Kamala's got something of everything in her. So I'm not gonna get into that. But the problem that I have with her is that this is the thing. Does she have credibility in her? Does she have sway in her? You know, that's the thing I have a problem with. You know, what's gonna be her agenda? You know, is she gonna talk about reparations? Is she gonna talk about, now? Yeah, it's all working in the same circles too. It's not like you're gonna get somebody that's gonna think outside the box and say, "Oh, they all wear stuff." I'm about reparations. I let it be known. So none of them can do nothing for me. I would say anybody over Trump, but I'm not gonna sit around here and tell you that I think, Kamala is some deep, deep, wizard type person, because I haven't really heard any policies. I'd say, oh, okay, yeah, you make some sense of what have you done. It's none of that. So, you know, can't be bedazzled by good hair and blown in the wind, and you know all the latest dances, and you can, and you trying to be down with I know you all that smoke because she's doing a video with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I'm like, oh boy, you doing extra, you know. So, eh, when you be doing try hard, that's because he trying to get some of that. That was up with that though. You gotta understand what Dyson's up to, old Detroit pimp player. Oh, she is. She is. She is. She can see. The thing about it is this, for the people who don't know, Kamala is everything that if Trump had an IQ, like if he was sharp in a Martin capacity, he'd utilize it to his advantage. She's everything that JD Vance ain't, but she ain't top level, but she knows how to work a level. He be pimp preacher. He talks, got words for days, will out scrabble you, out uno you, out play checkers than you. Dyson is something else. Yeah, cause I know he wanted to get up there and Mac up there. I seen him, glasses all fogged up, his fro. He probably did a little extra, it like he had some activator in his fro. Cause it hadn't been that texturized. He know he was up there macking. I don't know what he was about. I used to when I will say this back in the 90s, I was more in him because I read his book, he write about artists and his word usage. I thought, okay, the cat was cool. But then that shtick got old because, he just started being everywhere. As Suge Knight would say, all in the videos, all in the books, all in the magazines, he always gotta be everywhere now. Like he's trying to be the hood Forrest Gump. Yeah, he do. He's trigger happy. And like I said before, he was decent. Like it's like he because he's hood. The hood Forrest Gump. He a player, yo. He from the D. Now, if you know anything about Detroit cats, I ain't gotta tell you nothing. Lord Jamar doesn't hate on Diddy. Well, I'll tell you, let me address that. If you a real rapper and a real MC, you look at Diddy like, what does he do? He ain't no writer, he ain't no rapper, he ain't no producer, he ain't no beat maker. And see, Jamar don't like what he represents and he knows what he does. And he didn't like the arrogance of him. Plus, Jamar and them came up when hip hop, you had to have some talent, you know. We know how Diddy got where he got. He was the mailroom floor with Andre Harrell. And I remember in the Stacey Lattisaw video, Nail It to the Wall, came out back in '89, her last video, he was dancing in the video. I mean, he hustled his way up. I'll give him that. However, it wasn't like the way Jamar came up. I saw Jamar on Lil Jamar on Piers Morgan's show. You know, he didn't come out and say directly, but I know why he feel like he do about him. My knock on Diddy's always been because he ain't no real artist, because it's another Clive Davis puppet, just like Milli Vanilli. But that's because of the music. And this other stuff he's doing ain't no shock or surprise. And the truth is, it's almost dime a dozen in that industry. 'Cause when you start to see some people that you know ain't got no talent and they homogenize acting. I don't think everybody hating on him. I refuse to listen to people talking about he did this to me or that. That's getting tiring. That's getting tiring. Everybody trying to get him as an ATM machine need to stop. It ain't everybody. I just want him to tell the truth and laying it back where they go after the Jimmy Iovine's, the Clive Davises, the folks, because it's looking one sided. And we know there's more going on. These people just gonna pull out on him, and because look at the alcohol and pull out and say we're not gonna do nothing with him. We done with him, and we're gonna leave him out the pasture. Well, you know why? You know why? Complexion for the protection for the direction. I say the direction is my part, but for the protect complexion for protection is what Paul Mooney said. You look between how it's ran. It's a plantation. They own everybody. They own everybody. You don't have, and I already told you about Diddy already, Ted. He's more, he's worse than Robinson in Carolina and Tim Scott and all of them. He's worse because he was really the Lulu that he was gonna get accepted. He was up there actually in the courtroom telling the judge, "I give you $50 million. I do the Diddy bop. Let me go home." I mean, you really gone. You really are gone. That man didn't even tell you about a woman tell you what your bail would be. You was up there putting up, and the other somebody I was reading online brought it up very well. The house that he was putting up, the house he's putting up, they already got that thing on ice. Feds got that iced. So that's inconsequential. But it's the way he bopped. He really think he been accepted. He's more Carlton Banks than Carlton Banks. When you don't know yourself and you don't know your history. And now you got to live up to that t-shirt that you had back 20 years ago. Vote or die. That's what he's hoping. Now, Q wouldn't go to that. Q was very mild mannered dude. The way I remember Q, he did his records and he did his thing, but he wasn't really into that scene. He wasn't really into that scene, you know. Everybody ain't been to one, but a lot of them went. A lot of them went. Some of them didn't stay, but a lot of them went though. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that Q's been no saint, cause but one thing about Cube, he don't put his business out there in the street. You know, that's one thing about it. He, cause see, he was an ITT student. He was about to go to the same school as Will Smith. But, and I'm not saying it to slight, that's just a fact. But one of the best songs he did, but see, Q, and somebody brought up a good point. I forgot what video I was watching. Was it on the Art of Dialect? Someone brought up a good point. They said he outworked John Singleton, which I had never even thought about. But they said fresh Jerry Curl cat turns around and then does directs these films. I said, well, yeah, that's some truth to that. Because he really did take himself to another level. That's true. Well, it's because a lot of them, I'm gonna tell you like this, Charlene, a lot of them because they risked a lot. They were promised a lot of things. And so they bringing other people involved because it's the shame factor, but it's also the money involved, and it's also about the perks. So when they start crying Argentina about, this or that, it comes with other situations. It's not just one thing. But they don't want it to be alone because they want to know what the other person got because that's how the industry works. That's the part they don't tell you. Somebody's like, if I did this, did I get that? Will I get this? Will I get that? That's what's up. So that's what they're really saying. But so much is it's an old Hollywood thing. Did you watch the Suge Knight interview? If you watched the Suge Knight interview with Chris Cuomo, that was some rawness. You gotta watch that. Look up Suge Knight talking about recently with Cuomo. That was pretty direct. If you wanna hear it, you gotta check that out. Suge went in, the whole thing about the egg too. Yeah, he talked about that egg thing and Cuomo goes, "I ain't never heard that." And Suge knows stuff. Yeah, it was on Chris Cuomo. Came out last week, he called from prison. And he talked about the industry. He talked about what Diddy had to go. He talked about it. When you get to the egg part, you gonna go, ooh. He was saying that they break them in by sticking in the egg. You gotta watch that part. And he talked about how Jimmy Iovine, Clive Davis, Andre Harrell were mentors, and Russell Simmons too. He mentioned all that. If you follow the whole saga of the scene, the names mentioned aren't surprising at all. It's not surprising at all. Yep. That was one of the most, and I thought you sometimes you think you didn't heard it all. You're like Scooby Doo, like, huh? I had never heard about the egg. I was like, whoa. Suge went in, you know. Keep hitting up those likes, keep hitting those likes up. And anybody wants to hit the donations, feel free to welcome everybody that's coming through. Got like quite a few folks coming and appreciate it. It's looking really good tonight. So thank you. Yeah, you gotta watch it because it's 15 minutes, but he was great. I don't feel bad for him. If this is the thing to get out of this, he needs to quit the business. But how do you get out? He can never go back to that industry again because he's a pariah and he's a worse kind of pariah. He'll never get out in terms of the half of his former life. Oh, they'll leave him some money, but he'll never get the half of what he had. You know, this was done to break him. I hope people understand what's at work here. This ain't just about just this is to break pockets bad. I can't feel bad for a grown man that showed the privilege that was pushed. And you see, I'm gonna say it like this. The whole thing with Tupac and Biggie is deeper. There was a lot and Shine. You asked me why I don't feel bad for him. What about Shine? Shine did a bid for him. He did a decade for him. But Shine's been a blessed brother. Shine Shine looks great and he's very articulate and he's but he did a bid for this man. So did Puffy and Jennifer Lopez both need to be locked up. Both of them. Just for Shine alone. No, you know, you if you do a bid for somebody, that in details what? Because I can't feel bad for him. I go back with Puffy's ways. I remember the stomp out back in 91 with the school. And there's always been the same things being associated with his name and hasn't been good, you know. So I want to see if you still feel that way that he should feel bad for him. Cause I don't that thing with Bieber and Usher and all that. No, no. But the Biggie factor and Tupac, there's a lot going on, you know. I don't wish first of all, let's get something straight. I wish none of that on nobody, especially for nobody black, because I'm gonna tell it like this. Brothers got enough to deal with as it is. And everything is set up against you, still is. So the one thing you don't want to do is put yourself in a predicament which you can't get out of. And he basically gotta sing like a bird in a nest. He gotta sing, 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 sing. So that's all I'm saying about that. It's more extreme than people can imagine. So I'm not claiming to be no victim, and I don't know who you are. I think you need to do your history when I am not claiming I'm saying about the history of the country. It's never gets old because you can't consider something old when it's only been 60 years of civil rights. You can't downplay police brutality. You can't downplay institutionalized systematic racism. You can't downplay legalized genocide. You can't you can't downplay when you go to churches of how it's painted and how things are written in doctrine. So it's not old. And if you're going to address somebody like that, bring some facts. These politicians from both sides are always trying to beg support. Why is that? Because they see people as victims and they know it's not over because they've been, how do I want to say it? They have been misusing Dr. Martin Luther King's words to their agenda. So before you come in and say some stuff like that, know what you be speaking of. They're the ones who are trying, both sides are trying to wash and whitewash what Dr. King said. I am not saying victim. I'm saying if you're gonna call yourself United States and if you people are born and bred, everybody gotta be on the same page. They not. That's a fact. Pretty much. When people come up here and they don't have no and just wanna just troll or wanna say stuff and don't have nothing to speak on, really don't have nothing to speak on. Because you tell yourself if you're so enlightened and so educated, how do you tell a race of people that have been for over 400, 500 years that last 60 years they get a piece of paper that says they're civilly right, allowed to work, vote, and to marry who they want? Make that make some sense. Everything handed to you since 1964. So basically 60 years. Okay. What happens if you're 70 years old? What if you're 80 years old? What if you're 90? See, if you say stuff like that, what does that say about others who've been here? What do they have handed to them? What do they have? They had everything handed. And what's everything handed? We just had the first black president in 2008. But it wasn't handed in 1974, 84, 94, or oh 04. Make that make sense. You know why it's still felt? Because ancestors and people who grew up in a legalized genocide world, that's what they had to endure, separate but unequal. Had to see things of people being lynched and on postcards. That was seen as a sport. So yes, if those things kind of hit, and things didn't end in 64. That's the biggest crock there is. That was just put on paper. There were still places that weren't hiring people. You need to do your history. But it's always good somebody comes along like this who got nothing else better to do but troll and don't have the facts on how it's been and how it still is, because it still happens. It's still places that are still doing things where they don't allow, despite what they try to tell you, and that they act like they do, but they don't. And we were so far removed from it, we still wouldn't be dealing with it. Maybe the people that are doing it should get over them. They're the ones who need to move on, but they haven't because they want things a certain way. That's how you end up with what you have. So it's always somebody got to troll and got to say stuff to try to, like, you know, justify, like, we live in a modern fair world, and they're gonna act like the other 440 didn't count. So last 60, let's make it count. See, that's rich. That's arrogance. That's smug. That's when you've been privileged. Oh yeah. If I tell you 60, it's like Malcolm X said. There's no truth to what you're saying. No truth at all. It don't hurt. It just makes you look bad. It don't hurt me. It's comical because someone that would say that kind of stuff obviously hasn't understood reality. It's kind of like you go to high school and you get to your 10th grade year and you got to find out how to make the other eight matter to your last two. 16, the first African Americans came here, 1600, came to Jamestown in Virginia through the history. We're not going to get into all that because if you do the history, you know. But the bottom line is this. Did even take those sisters? I don't even know. It's no try again. You're the one that's desperate for attention. It's always like when people come here and they think they're gonna. Yes, no Columbus either. I've already proven my fact. You won't you ask other people who they believe, me or yourself? You're coming on my on my forum to try to dispute, and you don't have a leg to stand on. Ask the people who they believe out of you and myself. Please do. If you're wrong, you can hit the side though. Mhm. Because I just think that's what happens when people be trolling, that's all. They got nothing else better to do. They trying to incite something, and that's what it comes down to. You'll never get no one to coexist though. There's no professional victims here. I just letting folks just talk and they just then hijack. Thank you, Sport Page. Appreciate that. I ain't gotta sit here and not make up stuff. I'm one generation removed from my family who had to deal with Jim Crow openly. If you must know, if you must know, one from it. Their 1964 was not that different than 1954 for them. Okay. So realities hit a lot of eyes and hearts. But I like it when people try to act like, oh, they just gonna come and just say, oh, well, now that that was passed, that's it. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. And you talk about economic dollars and you talk about agendas. Well, all that stuff is adds up. So, that's how you build it, but it is still very much real. But anyway, stuff trying to get fired up in here. Okay. I would beg to advantage of what? Every advantage in what? How do you know what someone has done? How do you know? How do you know? And what's every advantage? Every advantage. What does advantage mean? And what does done nothing mean? Make those elaborate. Because does advantage mean being able to lie and cheat and get over? You didn't say nothing that I felt that was worthy of repeating. So I won't waste any time with that. And when you say people in life have different things that they look at as things that have moved people. So you can't speak again. You're just speculating and you're just saying things, you know. This is good, Ted, too. We're getting some real life popcorn. Get your popcorn. Where's T.O. when I need T.O.? I need T.O. to come through here. If I could get Terrell Owens to come through here, get your popcorn and put it all in the helmet. Put it all in the helmet. This is hilarious. This is good, though. I don't mind. Well, if I'm a complete nothing, what's that make you? You're commenting on it. Uh, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. That was genocide. Florida in the 40s. You know, all that's real. All of it's real. Well, that's why you still here because you got nothing else better to do. You need someone to entertain you. That's what you look at. So that's why you're here. Because I guess those other forms won't tolerate you. I wonder why. Yeah, I went to go see that movie too with John Singleton directed it. As a matter of fact, there's a whole section of it on YouTube. Mm, yeah, well, that just about does it, though. So I'm done with this. Gotta get that up out of there. We had enough of that. When you can't talk and articulate, you have to resort to the name calling and just the low brow. That's what's up. Had nothing to say. I was trying to get that movie in my because I Rosewood, that's what it was. I went to go see that movie. Yep. Went to go see Rosewood. That was based on a true story. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure they'll come back as another name or something. I'm not gonna have nobody just doing all that. Trolls are cracking me up. I can't pray for what is everybody's sympathy? What's the sympathy for Diddy? I don't even understand this. I don't get it. I don't get it. Matrix attack. I gotta take that out of here. I can't be having it on here. You say something else crazy and that's it. I can't do nothing but no Diddy. Listen, I will give him his credit as a businessman, what he accomplished in the hustle industry, but that other stuff, no. And I wasn't a fan of him musically because he had no talent. And this other things that's going on is typical show business. And that's not nothing new. As a Bills fan, I catch some heat from Bill fans, but I've been feeling that way about Sean McDermott. I'm telling you, they don't like it when I say I miss Marv Levy. And I know Marv Levy's about 189, but you gotta Ted and I had this discussion. You know, people used to always talk about, oh, Phil Jackson just, oh, he did. You don't understand how it is to coach ego. When you have a great player, you got to have a coach who knows how to coach ego. To be honest with you, he's worse than Meathead McCarthy because he's blowing it before he has a chance to get it started. He's got one AFC championship game appearance and knocked out in the second round, and no one takes his team serious because of his coaching. At least Meathead gets regular season wins, gets knocked out in the first round, but he got that ring to fall back on. So if the other meatballs don't work, he got that. McDermott ain't gonna see no Super Bowl unless he's sitting in his living room like the rest of everybody is. So yeah, well, he wins division titles too, but yeah. Oh, okay. You asking that? You Belichick wouldn't coach Dallas. And Belichick is looking for a situation that like San Francisco, maybe Philadelphia with talent. Dallas is disorganized. He would never work for Jerry Jones. That would not work. He gonna work for Robert Kraft. Wouldn't work with Jerry Jones. And he saw what happened with Bill Parcells. And then um, Buffalo, I don't know if it would work. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it would though. I wouldn't want Belichick. I want him as a coordinator. I wouldn't want him as a head coach. But I don't see because I know he's gonna try to pass Shula. That's what the whole thing is. And I don't feel bad for Belichick. Got stuck with Mac and Cheese Jones, and he didn't look like much without Brady. It's funny how everybody came around with that. Hello, how you doing? Other meatballs don't work. There's some truth to that too. But Dino from the Flintstones. And I hope that your questions get a little bit deeper than that. I'm thinking that you're trolling me. But I like Dino. It's the only dinosaur I like is Dino. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, something like that. Keep on hitting those likes up. Glad people coming through. Got quite a few. 65 votes so far. 51% say no, 49 say yes. So baseball, interesting. Interesting, interesting. So glad people coming through tonight. It's definitely been a good night so far. You know what that means? That means Doug Peterson gonna be ready to go bye bye, and Trevor Lawrence then turn into a frog, and they stuck with Mac and Cheese Jones. They can't tackle. I might. Let me see which one looks appealing to me. Let me look. Seattle, Detroit looks appealing. Okay, I'll give you that. Nobody wants to watch Miami and Tennessee, but Seattle, Detroit, yeah. Because last time they played, if you remember that game a year ago, they scored like they played like they were playing Madden. So that should be a real good game. Whoever loses that game knows gonna feel it. That's been quite a while ago. Think I was watching more Ren and Snippy. Well, you probably got a chance to go there. Yeah, I remember you mentioned about Megatron. I think that's appropriate. That's a big game for them, though. Because whoever wins that game is gonna feel like they're really in control of the destiny. Detroit needs to win though, because Minnesota could be for real, and that's a tough division. Seattle wins though; they keep up with San Fran, but I don't know how good Seattle really is though. So I'm not buying it. Nobody wants to care about Miami and Tennessee tonight, though. Tennessee ain't got no quarterback, and before you mention no what's his butt, he sucks, by the way. So he don't count. They got DJ Metcalf had that bomb last week. I saw that, but they didn't beat nobody. They beat Miami, so Yeah, I that was one of the biggest, best stories of Geno Smith. But I'm not sold on Seattle as a team. But Geno is definitely he's got his thing together. If I was DeAndre Hopkins, my trade talks would have heated up after week one. They don't I probably I think DeAndre if I was D Hop, I'd have been gone after that first week. That loss to Chicago, that should have been like an omen. Because everything that could go wrong did. And Caleb is getting carried over by the defense, special teams, and all kinds of things. He threw a couple touchdown passes, but I'd have been begging to get out of there. Kansas City gonna be okay. They always find a way to win. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go because this thing I've been on for a couple hours. It's probably burning on fumes after a while, but I'll be on for just a little bit. I got a little bit longer. Um, yeah, it only took him 50 years though. Played half his years career, and but Geno's story is all right. Can you hear me okay? If you can hear me all right, give me a one. If y'all can hear me okay, give me a one. And I am going to probably be on for a little while longer tonight. I'm still talking, so I ain't ready quite yet. Eating about 10 minutes. Definitely probably come back Thursday because the next 2 nights I got to do a couple things. I'll be out, but we still talking. Yeah, everything's still on. Um, Geno's story is great. I'm very impressed with Geno. He didn't work himself into, you know. At first I thought it was a fluke, but he's been, you know, and better late than never. I wish that one cat that was still here when Atlanta was up in baseball because I don't know what they're doing against the Mets. But remember, like I said, if they split, they get in. They got the tiebreaker. Keep on hitting those likes. I see some good numbers, some good folks coming through. So appreciate it. Whole numbers have been really good. Got more things like that coming through. Okay. So hit me up with some questions. I see I like late bloomer something. I only like it if you were someone that you worked yourself hard. It's tough when it's someone that you thought was gonna be great. I didn't see Geno Smith being great, but I didn't think it was gonna. But but late bloomers, if they work themselves, not the ones that you thought they were gonna be great. You know, so I know that's the Steve Nash Award. I know that's who comes to mind. We didn't see that coming. So there's always somebody like that though. But it never happens like that in music too often. That some artist stinks early and then they all of a sudden they turn great. I can't recall that. No, and I hope that's not how you address people. I hope that you got some conversation. If you have no conversation, then you're trolling. So if you got something to say it. If it's just a troll bait, it's got to go. Because I take certain comments personal. And I like people to address form, that'd be cool. If not, then I just assume they trolling. And I ain't got no time for trolls. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to go in a little bit. That's what happens. We've been on for like 2+ hours. So after a while, it kind of goes out. But if you got something to say, feel free. Yeah. And if you can hear me, say where you from. Go from there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll probably back on Thursday. So if you come back Thursday, I'll be back. So hopefully you'll come back. That'll be my next day. So I'll take off a couple of days. I'll be on twice a week. That's the plan. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, SPT. Appreciate you coming through as always. Appreciate everything. Thank you so much. Have a good one. And great comments too, as always. Always welcome that. Because I'll be on for just a while longer. See all we got. See if anybody else gonna say anything. So feel free to give commentary. Got 67 votes so far. 67 votes so far. It's still close. It's like people are split 50-50 about baseball. So that's not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. All right. Yeah, Ted, that's cool about the late bloomers. I mean, yeah, that's true. True that. Been a wild night up in here tonight too. Let's see what we're working with. See if anybody got something else to say. Appreciate you. 68% just came back. That's pretty good. 68 votes. So it's still pretty tight. Everybody gonna go kind of quiet now. I still got about 3 more minutes. Like the last 69 votes are in. 52% say no, 48 say yes. Okay. I don't know what that means, so do tell. I'm afraid, and if it's something the derogatory, it's not gonna last long, Isaac. But let me hear what you got to say. Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. Okay. That's an interesting one. I hadn't heard that one before, but okay. Well, you got any questions tonight? Black Phantom. Sometime I know about the car. The Black Phantom, the car. I know about that. Let's see what we're working with. 69 votes for baseball. Interesting. Okay, that's more than enough right there. Can't have that on here. It's not what I gotta have on here. I was kind of hoping someone would have something interesting to say. Trolling is disgusting, and that's just not healthy, not healthy, not healthy, not healthy. Okay. Was hoping to go out on a good note. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Hope the weather is cool. Tomorrow is the start of October. It's hard to believe it's October. It's hard to believe that we are, wow, 10 months deep now. So, anyway, trying to see if anybody else comes through before, you know, appreciate all this, the good stuff tonight, not the trolls. I don't like trolls. I like welcome conversation with people that like to have like minded conversation. And if you feel like you want to have like minded conversation, we can. Um, Trying to keep everything on the positive and on the good. So, trying to see what we got. Like I said, I got a couple minutes before I will appreciate the likes tonight. And always welcome subscriptions and people who like to donate and also conversation. So, by all means, helps the channel out, helps everything out, and it's also good to communicate. So, I touch on a lot of different topics and subjects. So we got going tonight. Some people gonna be cooking tonight. Some people just gonna be getting themselves comfortable. So let me know. All right. Going to see if anybody's gonna come through. Everybody went pretty quiet. So, and like I said before, it's definitely been a good night. I see for a couple plus hours, touched on a lot of different topics. So appreciate everybody. I think I will close the night since no one else is communicating right now. Appreciate everyone that came through. Thanks for all of the support. And looking forward to hearing from you. I'll be back in a few days and resume. So stay safe, stay blessed, stay real, stay woke, stay true, stay honest, stay cool. And rest in peace to Karen Mutombo, and also everybody stay safe. Sends and prayers and thoughts to folks in Florida. Anybody impacted by the storms and everything. best, wish your best, be your best.